If you think you could never be vegan, you're in the right place. If you think there's something big you'd really like to do, but it's probably too late, you're in the right place. My name's Michelle Olander, and I think there has never been a more important time to move in a vegan direction. So I'm here every week to cheer you on and offer you actionable tips, inspiring guests, and strategies as you veg your best. Episode 169, Vegan Superpowers with author Tina Newman. Welcome, and welcome back, my Veg Your Bestie. I am recording this introduction to today's podcast interview with author and creator Tina Newman. I'm recording it on the day before U.S. Thanksgiving, and this is going to air the week after our Thanksgiving. So I hope you had a great holiday if you're in the U.S., and I also hope that I did and my family. You know, sometimes the time travel involved in making a podcast is sometimes it feels more surreal than others. And like many of you listening, I have a bit of a busy few weeks ahead of me. It's a little daunting. And in fact, when I look at that calendar, I am getting a tiny bit panicky. But with the help of my podcast producer, Charlie, thank you, Charlie, and my virtual assistant, Nancy, I love you, both of whom, without whom I would be a quivering mass of overwhelm. Well, with their help, I'm time traveling to create a few episodes in the next week or two to get us into the new year, 2024. And apparently there is a lot going on in 2024 for me. I'm finding out a lot going on in my world and in my family. And so to keep making this podcast come out every single week for 169 plus consecutive weeks, and that's to support new vegans and veteran vegans and pre-vegans, I'm going to have to get organized. Now, if you know me, organized, that is not how I self-identify. So I'm going to have to organize my best to create Veg Your Best each week. Now, next week, I think I'm going to talk about some of those challenges on the podcast and how coaching and coaching tools that I present here to help you move in a vegan direction are also the tools that you use and that I use anywhere we're stuck or challenged. But this week's guest, Tina Newman, is yet another one of those marvelous people I've met during my podcasting journey whose veganism has expanded her world. Too many people think that opting out of animal products is going to somehow limit their lives or feel restrictive, but every single day I see the opposite, and not just in my life. Today you're going to hear how Tina Newman took a very challenging time in her life and turned it into something remarkable, and it was fueled by her commitment to a vegan practice. Now, if you were at VegFest London, and I know I have quite a few listeners in the UK, if you were at VegFest London a couple of weeks ago, you probably saw Tina in person talking about her 3 books and the magical character she has created, Vivi the Super Vegan. Vivi the Super Vegan is destined to be on our screens in the near future, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm going to catch you on the other side. Tina Newman, author and creator of Vivi the Super Vegan. Welcome to Veg Your Best.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on.
It's a delight. It's been in the process. I've been following your work, and I have 4 grandchildren right now, all under the age of, 3 and under, and expecting a couple more. And I am so excited to hear that they're going to be vegan children's books. So tell me all about Vivi.
Well, Congratulations, by the way. That is wonderful news. I started my writing process when my girls were 1 and 3. I was vegetarian for a long, long time before that. And we went vegan as a family in 2017. And straight away, I was looking for vegan children's books. And I found a few that I bought, which were wonderful, but they were kind of, they were aimed at an older audience and they were more educational. And I really, really wanted to get some children's books which my children could still relate to and enjoy the stories and, have the kind of fun and mischief and magic which children love about with their children's books. But I couldn't find anything, which is why I decided to write my own. And that is when Vivi the Super Vegan was born.
That's great. I mean, I think this is the origin story of so many things, right? You look for something and it's not there, and it's up to you.
Exactly. And I felt very inspired by my 2 girls. So the characters are loosely based on our children, Lila and Ada. And of course, I had to bring little Ada in at the end of my first book, which is why she has her baby sister born at home under the Christmas tree, which is exactly what happened with me. So there's a little nugget of information about my story.
Was that the plan?
No, a home birth was planned, but thanks to my husband rabbiting on with the midwives and chatting away and no one believing that it was going to happen so quickly, the birthing pool didn't get filled up in time. So yeah, Ada had other plans.
That's funny. My son was born in the car on the way to the hospital. My second child. Yeah. They said, don't come until you're doing some work. And I was like, okay.
Second ones do have a tendency to come quite quickly, don't they?
Yeah. So we have unplanned delivery stories a little bit in common. That's great. So Vivi the Super Vegan is aimed at what age group?
I always say suitable for all, but obviously probably the 3 to 8 kind of age range. I've got parents who've bought the books for their children who are a lot younger, but they love looking at the pictures because I've tried to make them obviously whimsical and colourful. But to really understand, I would say that the kind of primary school age.
It's such a magical time for children because they do love their books. They do kind of insert themselves into the adventures in books at that age, I think. So with the book, what was the thing that gave you the confidence to, you noticed that there was a vacancy in the market for such a book. You had kids that you would like to have to see reflected in children's literature in terms of their choices. What gave you the courage or the perseverance to make it happen?
It was a very new thing for me because I don't have a background in writing or anything like that. I'm actually a trained makeup artist in film and TV. So it was quite a bold move of mine, to be honest. But I was a stay-at-home mum at the time. And my husband had actually become quite ill after we'd moved from London to Suffolk. And I was kind of so wrapped up in, caring for him, caring for the children. And I had this really, really strong desire to give back and to help animals, because after being vegetarian for 21 years, I found out about the dairy industry whilst I was still breastfeeding my child, and it literally crushed me. I was in bits, and I decided from that point that I wanted to do something to help animals, to help my children with their future, and to try and normalize kindness to animals and protecting the planet, and ultimately try and help the planet as well. And I think because I was in such a difficult space at home, it gave me something positive to focus on as well. So even though at the time I was thinking, this is completely bonkers, Tina, you've never done anything like this before. I'd self-published, so we'd put quite a lot of money in ourselves, and I never knew if I was going to, make that back. And it wasn't an issue for me and my husband because I was so passionate about it. It was really a passion project, and it still is. But I just wanted to go for it. So it really was. It was strange timing, but it was all meant to be.
I think sometimes during these marginal states in our lives, when we are giving birth, when we're nursing, these are times when we're really connected to, I'm not the most woo person, but we're really connected to so much energy during those times in our lives.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So first book was Vivi the Super Vegan, and you self-published it. And close on its heels were 2 more books.
Yeah. Vivi and the Planet Protector. I published that the following year. And I really wanted to tackle the dairy industry in that one. So I've touched upon that. I've tried to do everything in the lightest possible way, because it's a very hard topic to address with children. And I don't want to scare them. I don't want to make them feel really sad. I don't want to annoy parents. I don't want to, rock the boat too much. But what I want to do is to tell the truth in the most child-friendly way, and also bring about a bit of balance, because every child's book that we were reading with our children were about zoos, were about farms. All of the nursery rhymes, they're all about animal exploitation, but you don't really think about it. You just sing them, and you just, it's just something you've always done. So I really wanted to bring out some books that kind of counteracted, that was bringing about balance, because it just wasn't happening. So the second one, I deal with the dairy industry and a few other topics. The third book, I released, I think that, I kind of need to check the date now. I think that was last year, unless it was the end of the year before. I can't even remember. It all blends in now. But obviously it was post-COVID and the world was very strange, and it was quite a difficult time, but it didn't stop me. I still wanted to go ahead and do it and tackle one of the biggest elephants in the room, in my opinion, which is the plastic situation, because everybody wants to talk about giving up plastic straws and stop using single-use plastic. But at the end of the day, it is actually the fishing industry which is contributing to about 50%, I think they say, of plastic in the ocean, with ghost nets and things from their big boats. So I wanted to tackle that, and that is the main theme of my third book.
So these are just such deep topics, and you're trying to present them to small kids and to their parents who may also not be vegan, may not be thinking about it. And I heard you speaking on another podcast, I think it was, where you said, when people feel like you're pushing your vegan agenda, if you will, on other people, and you said, I think very intelligently, but we're always pushing a non-vegan agenda on everybody. So it's and I think what I feel you are doing with this is to creating such a beautiful conversation where it's opening people. I know that I have been challenged with the idea of talking about veganism much with kids, because I want them to, first of all, I do want them to listen to their parents. I do want them to eat what their parents have decided or their pediatrician has decided they should eat. So I don't want to just be, but I do want them to talk about it with their parents.
I think that is that for me, when I listen to my children coming home from school and they're saying that they've spoken to their friends and their friends want to go vegan, they love animals, and then they go home and their parents have said, no, that's not happening. Like, children don't seem to have any rights. They just do, of course, they do what their parents tell them, they do what their teachers tell them. And I think I'm understanding a lot more as a mother that we just expect children to do what they're told. And I think it is very, very important to have these conversations and to teach children to critically think and let them have their own thoughts and feelings. So if a child comes home and they're really, really distressed about the thought of eating animals, really parents should respect that and they should help them with that. And, I was 11 when I came home and told my parents that I didn't want to eat meat anymore. And my parents helped me do that, and they supported that. To be fair, my mum was a vegetarian anyway, but my dad was a big carnivore. But I think it's a very sad situation that children are naturally so compassionate towards animals, and they love them and they wouldn't want to hurt them. But when they do make that connection and want to make that change, a lot of the time it's met with resistance from their parents due to conditioning and due to, their own thoughts and beliefs. So I just want to open up that conversation, as you say. And if children are reading my books with their parents because they've taken them home from school libraries, for instance, a lot of the time they won't be vegan, their parents won't be vegan, and it will open up that opportunity to chat and hopefully plant some seeds.
I'm wondering if you have a parent's guide for your books, for parents who are not vegan, but want to share the conversation, and not to have an argument of any kind, but to because we are all coming out of a culture that it's normal, natural, maybe necessary, right, for animal products. And at different times in human history, all of the above has probably been true. But
Yes.
we live in a world right now where we do have different options. Maybe we always did, but they're a little bit simpler for many of us now. How would you encourage a parent who's currently not vegan or vegetarian to share this book with their child?
I think that's a really good idea, by the way, about the guide. That's something that I think I might look into. I think I would look at it like going on a journey with their child, reading the book and doing it with an open mind and having a chat with their child as they go, because it's going to challenge their own belief system. I've done that for a reason. One of the gifts that Vivi, my protagonist, has is called speculo, and she can spark compassion in others, and she highlights the truth. And a lot of the time she'll look at someone and it basically shows the truth, and it reflects back on them, which is hard. We've all had that happen to us when we've gone vegan, and that is a really, really tough part of our journey. I remember feeling quite defensive and upset and quite guilty and all of these different emotions when I found out about the dairy industry, because I felt so confused and cross, because I thought I hadn't been contributing to animal cruelty for 21 years, and you can have quite a strong reaction. So I think when a parent is reading my stories with their children, that's okay. Like, these feelings are completely valid, and that's a normal thing to happen. And the characters react in different ways throughout the book when this happens. And I kind of want parents to realize that that's the same thing that's happening with them. And then what you do with that after you have that information is ultimately down to them. I'm not there to tell anyone what to do. I'm just offering the information. And at the end of the day, it's down to that person's heart, really, isn't it?
It so is. You know, we're confronted with all kinds of things in the news, in our family lives, in our extended families and communities, things that we've never thought about. And we're thinking, oh, well, it never occurred to me. And I think that's something to not be ashamed of. I think sometimes we're just like, well, if it never occurred to me, I guess it's not for me. But to be welcoming when you have never thought of something.
Yeah, I completely agree.
With the series, I understand you have a new project going on to get the books and the concepts and the characters in front of more kids and more families. Tell me a little bit about that project.
Yeah, I think when I started writing my books, I had no idea how it was going to end up at this point. And it has evolved quite quickly, which is incredible, and I'm so excited about. But it is it's quite overwhelming, to be honest, because basically I connected with a TV producer 2.5 years ago. She's an incredible lady who champions female founders. She is all about diversity and inclusivity, and her ethics are extremely important to her, which I think she told me in the production world and animation world is not really, it doesn't really exist. But she really, really believes in what I'm doing, and she optioned my books 2.5 years ago. We've been working really, really hard together to package it up as a concept and, get our pitch deck ready and everything, build a team. So we have animation studios in Canada. We have vegan and plant-based celebrities who are going to be doing voiceovers, and we've got vegan writers on board, and a lovely guy who has done us like a sample theme song. We've got so many people all ready in our team, and we want to offer a TV series. We've got an app that's been built by London South Bank University, a prototype app, and we want to offer a whole VegTech family platform, so children can access vegan-friendly and eco-friendly content on their screens, TV, computers, phones, everything, because I love books, I adore books, but I do realize that technology is the way forward for, you know, the younger generation. So we wanted to progress with the brand and offer everything, you know, on a technological basis.
So to make a holding tank basically for all these great ideas and all the new wonderful ideas I assume you're going to be having. If you've already got 3 books in about 4 years, 3 or 4 years, I can't even imagine what you're going to have in the next 10 or 15.
Well, as I say, it wasn't my plan at the beginning. And I just feel like when you put something, I put my blood, sweat and tears into this, because for me, the animals drive my passion. I always wanted to do something to help animals. And before, I was training to be a veterinary nurse because I thought that that's what I wanted to do. And I found that way too upsetting. So I moved away from that. And I think to have fallen into this and to see that there is such a demand, because there's a lack of vegan friendly content for children, and not just for vegan children, for non-vegan children, for children everywhere. I think unless we give them resources which show how amazing it is, and how it's so needed just to be kind to animals, kind to each other, kind to our planet, it's never going to become the norm. And, you know, brainwashing and conditioning starts from such an early age. And to have this opportunity now to build my stories and to make it bigger and turn it into a whole brand, it's just incredible. I'm really excited to see where this is going to end up.
And I love that you have this kind of dual mission. The mission is to make these ideas more accessible to kids and friends and their families. But also, I would imagine if you are a child vegan and you go to your normal preschool and school, and you are even in England, which is very vegan friendly and very vegetarian friendly compared to many places, even then you're probably going to feel on the outs. Yeah. Quite often, and confused. And it would be just so wonderful to have this kind of an exterior concept that you can say, yeah, like Vivi.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like Vivi.
Yeah. And I think, you know, that was one of my main reasons for writing my books, was because I wanted to give children you know, characters in literature that they could relate to and that affirmed their lifestyle, and that they could look up to and be like, oh wow, like I am a superhero because every day I'm saving animals just by being me. And that was kind of the original idea. And now I'm seeing that there's so much more to this. It's not just to empower vegan kids, it's to inspire non-vegan kids. It's to encourage them to work with their friends and their families, and to show how much power we all have individually just by changing a few things in our life: what we eat, what we wear, the activities we do. You know, everything that we pay towards is either going to be contributing to animal cruelty or the, you know, damage of our planet, or doing the opposite. So I just want to simplify it and show children that they are really powerful, and if we all do this together, then the world could be a beautiful place.
That is a beautiful, beautiful sentiment. And it gels with what I try to do here every day, is to try to have people think, what could you do a little differently? You don't have to throw everything out today, but you can evolve in all these ways. What is a way that our listeners, Veg Your Best listeners, and the people that we're going to, you know, share your work with, what is a way they can help support you on this project?
I think just by helping to get the word out, really. You know, follow us on Instagram, you know, tag people in if they think that they would share our vision with this. We're seeking investment at the moment, so we're trying to connect with the right kind of people who you know, would believe in what we're doing and would want to support. Really, we're just trying to get as much publicity so we can you know, connect with the right people and get this all into production.
So maybe the first thing they could do is follow you on Instagram, and your Instagram handle is
just Vivi the Super Vegan.
Simple. Vivi, VI, the Super Vegan.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
And they can buy books. I think it's a holiday season coming up.
It is. Yeah, I should definitely be putting a Christmas bundle deal on my website very soon.
Is that the best place for people to order your books or
Yes.
look into ordering on your
Yeah,
website?
on
And
my
the
website,
website is also called
vivithesupervegan.co.uk. Nice and
that's
simple.
that sounds simple. But if they are following you on Instagram, they're going to see all this. They're going to get all
Yes.
the links. They're going to know when certain things are available, when you get your funding for your app to
Yeah.
put everything together. What is the order? Do you have an order to make a video or a YouTube channel or?
Yeah. My producer, I think her aim is to go with a mini YouTube series first. So to get that going and, start building the audience on that. As I said, we've got a prototype app that's been built by London South Bank. So I think we want to start trialing that and getting some, tests with that. And then really to get the main series into production with our animation studios in Canada. The first episode and the pilot has already been written. So we've got that lined up. And a few of our voiceover artists have kindly recorded the script with the script as well.
Well, that is so exciting. And you seem so calm and so poised.
I'm glad that's how I'm coming across. Inside my head, like
I can't imagine. That's a lot going on, Tina.
Yeah.
What's your wish? What is your big, big, big wish? If you could wish one thing today to put out into the universe with Veg Your Best listeners, what's the one thing you'd like them to do?
My biggest dream is to make this happen. Make this happen soon. I feel that kids deserve to have themselves represented on screens. Animals need our help. Our planet is crying. The sooner we can make this happen, the better. So, as I said, we've been working very hard behind the scenes. I'm trying to talk about it all the time now across my social media. But as I said to you before we started, I am a mum of two. The juggling act's quite difficult to do on my own. So I need the support of the vegan community now to get this out there and to connect with the right people who are gonna come in and help us financially, so we can get the ball rolling.
I'm tempted to stop on that because it's so great, but I'm going to ask you one more thing. If there is a grandmother out there listening who has a daughter with children who's not convinced they can do this, how can they raise their kids vegan? From your point of view, what would you like a mom with small kids who is aligned with veganism, but is a little bit feeling overwhelmed about how would I do that? What do you have to say to them?
I think simplify everything is my advice to people. I felt quite overwhelmed at the thought, even though I was a vegetarian. I think everything can seem quite scary, and the whole vegan world can seem quite intimidating if you don't understand. But at the end of the day, you can still cook all of your normal meals. You just you veganize everything. So if you just take the cooking, for instance, and the food first, just try some plant milks first. My girls were a bit picky because they were quite used to cow's milk, although my youngest was still breastfeeding, so it wasn't as much of a shock for her. But so we just got 3-4 different plant milks, mixed in a little bit of chocolate to make it like a hot chocolate. We saw which one she liked, and then we kind of we put less and less chocolate in over the week, and then she was just drinking it, and then she was on the soya milk. So I think with the food, it's just try different things out and don't expect too much from yourself and your kids and the grandkids. Just make it all fun, really. And then all of the other aspects to vegan living, I think just make it fun. Just go talk about everything with your kids, make it all a bit of an adventure. And if you have doubts or you're confused by things, then reach out to people. I always say to everyone, my inbox is always open. If you have any questions or you're finding it overwhelming, drop me a message. I've got lots of vegan mums that would happily help. I've got friends who are nutritionists and friends in different areas and friends that are beauticians who could say use these different things. So just get involved in the vegan community, and no question is kind of too silly.
That is great advice. That's what we have here, is a really great vegan community of lots of people who've been through all the different stages of it that can reach out and help. Tina Newman, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing us more information about Vivi the Super Vegan. Good luck on your projects. Please keep in touch so that we can keep sharing your mission, and we'll get you on that app and on that YouTube channel so we can all share it with our kids and grandkids.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support.
So what did you think of Tina and Vivi the Super Vegan? I have been reading the books to my grands, and I know that these books are going to make great gifts during the holidays. But even if you don't have kids on your gift list, a really wonderful thing that you can do is follow Tina Newman at Vivi the Super Vegan on Instagram. Did you know that publishers and producers, they take things like the number of followers in your social media, they take this very, very seriously, and it makes a huge difference. Following Vivi the Super Vegan on Instagram will definitely help Tina Newman and her team navigate the question of investors and attracting artists and voiceover people and actors and distribution, and all of it costs you nothing. So please consider following Vivi the Super Vegan on Instagram and look for more updates there, and also here on Vivi's new adventures coming to a screen near you. And also, ask yourself this holiday season and this year, how can your vegan journey, wherever you are, how can your vegan journey be one that creates new adventures for you? Because it can. It can be a journey that creates new adventures no matter where you are this week and every week when you veg your best. Veg Your Best podcast production, music, and editing by Charlie Weinshank. Thanks, Charlie. Before you go, it would mean so much to me and the Veg Your Best team if you would hit subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, or share with someone you think might be interested. Something about algorithms, it helps bump us up a little in the rankings, and that's the best way to help others find the podcast and for us to find our audience. So, until next week, make it easy and veg your best.